Move over to removing these mounting ones and the clamp that is right here. Get myself a little leverage here against the table. I completely forgot. This is actually the low comp motor. The high comp B20 is in the Wago. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Javier and this is Fast TV. Today we're actually going to be working on my boy's car. So you can see that EG back there, that little EG. Yeah, Tiffany blue, really pretty. Actually, it does have power steering on it. So today we've been noticing for a while now it's got a little bit of slack. You're dealing with almost a 30-year-old vehicle. It's gonna start wearing out that rack. So guess what? We found one from Detroit Axle. Actually had a reman. So you can see right here when we picked it up. So today, that is what we're gonna work on. We're gonna throw this rack in real quick. And by real quick, I mean as fast as possible because it is freaking cold. It is cold today. I took the jacket on because I was starting to sweat there for a minute. But yeah, it's freaking cold, guys. And then you see there's more project stuff. There's the Wago that we've been kind of talking about on and off. I don't know if you guys remember some of the old videos before. It's a B20 Wago. I'll show you a little bit more of it. You see we got everything covered up right now. But we got the motor set in there. And we got the wiring harness, everything else. But we were waiting for the clutch cable bracket for cable transmission. We could not find one anywhere, so we're looking to get one made, and we're just dragging ass on that. But the motor's at least sitting in there. But that's not today's focus. This guy's today's focus. This is a 93 EG hatch, as you can see, and this guy has a B20 JDM B20 that we put in here. So it's a B20 high comp, and it hauls ass.
Low comp. That's the high comp.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. This is actually the low comp motor. The high comp B20 is in the Wago. So this low comp still fucking hauls ass. And it's just a LS base tune on it. P75.
6 to the wheels.
Yeah, she dynoed
125 horsepower or torque.
What was it? How much?
It's 136 horsepower to the wheels and 125 torque.
Yeah, that's what she put down. And I'm sure if it was on a dyno jet, the numbers would be even higher. But this was on a Superflow, which is pretty fucking accurate. And if anybody knows a little bit about dynos and dynamometers in general, Superflow is what everybody uses for a R&D piece of equipment because it gives you your true numbers. That hurts a lot of feelings. But again, I digress. Today we are gonna go ahead and dick around with this rack and pinion. So I already got a flashlight done here. Let you peek down there. You see all these lines. Gonna have to replace these lines right through here. This one, and this one. Undo those lines. Once we do that, there's 2 bolts, and farther that way, there's gonna be a clamp that holds the rack. So I'll try to get a better view once we get underneath the car. But it should be pretty straight and simple. Of course, we do have to undo the steering shaft off the knuckle here. We might actually undo it from the inside and pull the whole thing assembly down. It's just a lot easier because there is a boot and an inspection plate here. It just makes life a little easier because we're fighting a lot of lines in the room here. Anyway, that's all I got. What's up? Hey, I got more people coming by to say hey.
Oh, hey.
So, yeah, we'll get started on this. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm underneath the vehicle right now, looking straight under. So you can see, here's our power steering rack. Here's the rack head. And then you'll see these metal lines here where they fit right up through there. So I need to remove this line, and then also we're going to be removing the third line that is right here. And this is a pump return right there. You see here, that guy right there. So I'm removing all 3 of those off the rack first. Then from there, once those are removed, and I have the steering knuckle removed, like I said, you can't see it from down here because there's a protective boot. More than likely I'll undo that from inside the vehicle. Then we'll move over to removing these mounting ones and the clamp that is right here holding that guy down. Once we remove that, luckily on the 92 and up 92, 95s, once those are undone and the tie rod ends, and I apologize for the camera angle, tie rod ends over here on each end are disconnected from the spindle, I should be able to slide this rack out, more than likely, of course, from the driver's side and make it easier. But, alright, let me get my hands back under there, and I'll be right back. Alright, so. Thank you, sir. Alright, so we had a little bit of a struggle here, trying to get these wrenches. They're not quite, because of their age and wear down, not quite the size. So that 12 is probably like an 11 and 11.78. That 17 there is more like a 16.95. And luckily the other one, the third one that is a 14, I was able to break it loose. So that one jumps back into the body and loops around to your high pressure line. So that being said, what I am going to do is I'm going to take the one that I was able to break loose that goes into the high pressure line. I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. The other two are these two right here. Hopefully my hand is not in the way. These two right here. So we're going to leave them attached to the rack and pull the whole thing out with these lines on there. We're just going to disconnect it at the rubber side there. So I just got to undo those two clamps, drain the system, let that drop, take the one hard line off that I was able to break loose. Then from there, we'll take off the tie rod ends, disconnect the tie rod ends off the spindle, and hopefully the shaft inside the vehicle at the steering knuckle. Then we could take the sucker out. All right, so I was able to get that top line loose off the rack. Went ahead and removed the two rubber lines off the return line and the small return or small loop line, and then went and took off the bottom bolt. And I apologize, let me set this camera down here. All right, there we go, a little bit better. So there's the bottom bolt for the rack. I already removed it, the two lines, moved them off of there, and I got them tucked up away. So they're out of my way here. This is the pressure line that I unscrewed right here. We're gonna go ahead and I'm just letting it drip down into a pan for us right now. There's another mounting bolt higher up here. I'll take care of that. After that, before I take off that U-shaped brace on the passenger side, there, I'm actually gonna go ahead and disconnect my ball joint, so I have something holding my rack a little bit. So I could, if I got to beat on the joints to pop them off, it won't be that bad. Reason I'm turning on and off the camera is because you can see it's messy, it's oily. I'm spraying stuff, cleaning, trying to get the greaser, stuff like that, get threads work. And I'm trying not to touch the camera with these things. All right, so the struggle was real getting this rack off of there. Did have to disconnect the shift linkage, and you do have to take your downpipe off. And possibly even your cat delete or catalytic converter, whichever you happen to have on an EG. They're working with. Same thing for an Integra and other Civics. Anyway, I'll go ahead and show you the rack. We finally got it pulled out. There you go. There's the old one there. Like I said, we left the two metal lines off here. We were able to disconnect just the one. Undid the rubber hoses here, plugged them up at the car. And then in order to remove it, we did disconnect the steering knuckle from inside of the car. I didn't show you that on video, I don't believe. But you unscrew this from the inside of the vehicle. Your tie rod end on the driver's side must come off. Once you do that, you can go ahead and undo your two mounting bolts here. The clamp piece that goes here is also two mounting bolts, 17s. Once you get all that off, and of course you undid your ball joints, you can go ahead and push that rack over internally and slide it all the way to the passenger side, and then start wiggling out of your frame area. So now he's just cleaning up a little bit some of the mess we made with the power steering fluid, and get some of that area cleaned up. It's out. Might as well go ahead and clean the cross member, make it look pretty. If you happen to have any surface rust or anything you see like that, just hit it with a brush, clean everything. You know, of course, degrease it, hit it with a brush, degrease it again, clean it, and then just hit it with some rattle can spray. Just a preventive thing. You know, at some point we're gonna go ahead and pull that thing down and probably get it powder coated, but for now we're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna do preventive measures. So we're gonna take the surface rust off and then just put some paint over it, stop it from rusting anymore. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and try to figure out a way to get these guys off. Like I said earlier, I believe there was a 12 and a 14, 12 or 12 and 17, and it's neither or. These sizes are very just a little bit smaller than what they're supposed to be. This guy 12 has wobble, 14 has wobble. So now that it's out of the car, I could actually put a pair of channel locks on here or vice grips and be able to lock on a nice flat surface and give myself just enough leverage to break them loose without stripping it round. At least that's what we're going to attempt. All right, let's see. I got a 12 and a 17. We'll see if, let me see where, get a little bite on here. Barely, right there. You can see it's got a, you can see there it's a little wobble. And this one here, it is 17. You see how you have a little play there. So unless you get directly right on these, on the edge, and be able to hit them or put enough leverage, you're gonna spin them inside the car. So it is easier to remove it with this on here. So the 17, I'll start with it first. Get myself a little leverage here against the table. There. That one broke loose. This little guy. Let's see if I can do the same thing. Make sure it's as flat as possible. There. There we go. So if not, it would just strip these things. See how it would try to bounce there? And it looked like somebody tried to replace it before right there, but we got lucky. There's still enough room to bite. So 12 and a 17 that fit as tight as possible. Yeah, we'll put it in when it comes in. There you go, it comes with a combo. You need the donut for the bottom. All right, well, they got cold, it got dark. It is freezing cold right now. It's got to be like fucking 42 degrees right now and it's still dropping. But even that, look at that, even my flashlight's starting to die. As you can see down here, and I apologize for the angle. So you can see down here, I got the rack back on. The lines are connected back on, including the rubber lines. Let's see if I can move through here a little bit better. Probably not a good angle. Alright, horrible. Alright. We got the spline lined up on the inside at the take the light with me. Alright. We got the, and it's gonna be hard to see from this angle, but you can see we got the steering knuckle lined up back to the rack right there. Well, that's all I got for today. So we're gonna wrap it up for now. We'll continue next week and get the rest of this guy put together. Go ahead and fill up power steering, burp the system, get the tie rod ends, and then take it to get an alignment. All right, guys, I'm out of here. It's flashing. That means it's time to go. So we'll catch you on the next one. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for me. Stay tuned for part 2. Also, everything that I'm involved with is in the description down below. So go ahead and make sure to click on that. I got some merch out there for y'all. But yeah, the 93 ratchet hatch. We'll get this guy going.